and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from Santa Barbara, California. Well, today's verse is Matthew 5:16, which says, "Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven." Well, there's another lovely verse about light, and if you saw last week's video, and in case you didn't, I have the link right up here, I mentioned that I thought the light was love. And I've got yet another verse that will bring us to that conclusion. If we can look at 1 John 2:9 and 10. It says, "The one who says he is in the light and yet hates his brother is in the darkness until now. The one who loves his brother abides in the light, and there is no cause for stumbling in him." So light is love. If we don't love, there's no light. We're not Christians if we don't love. So it's always a good thing for us to do some introspection here and see, how do we treat people when we approach them? How are our social media posts? Let's say about politics. If someone was to read our social media posts, would they say, wow, there's a person of love right there. This person just has a lot of love coming out of them. What about when we greet Jehovah's Witnesses at the door? Is the first thing that comes out of us an action of love? What about when we see gay activists? Do we love them? People who don't salute the flag. What is our main course of action with people that are different from us, with whom we disagree, and yes, even our enemies, should we have any? It should be love. It's the hallmark of being a Christian. That's what separates us from the rest of the world, or at least should. So back to our main verse, "Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven." Now, seeing your good works, I got to make sure there's a couple of things here. Number one, there are some works or some aspects of Christianity that we are not to publicize or not make a show of. Jesus is going to cover those three in the next chapter of Matthew, which will be giving, praying, and fasting. That should be just between God and ourselves. That's not to be a public show of anything. But love, yeah, have at it. And when we have at it, not only is it showing off the love, but it's not to say, hey, look everybody, I'm a loving person. Wow, look at me. No, I'm a terrible person. It's His love that is changing me into a lovable person. And that's where God is going to get the glory. Let's look at one other reference here. John 1:7 talks about John the Baptist. It says of him, "He came as a witness to testify about the light, so that all might believe through him." Now, he was not the light, but came to testify about the light. That's what we're supposed to do too. We are supposed to be witnesses. We are supposed to testify about him because he's the light, and we should be reflecting that. Now, I know that a number of times my church would kind of make me scared, because it almost made it sound like I needed to be on street corners and preaching, or going knocking door to door, or doing something very actively evangelizing. But there is a time and a place for evangelists, but not everyone's called to evangelism. But we are all called to be His witnesses and to testify about Him. Well, what does that involve? Just loving them. Just loving them. When we love people who are unlovable, who don't deserve love, who are our enemies, it is going to have a powerful effect. And they will likely say, hey, why are you being so nice to me? And then we should be ready with a simple explanation. Not some big theological premise here, but just saying, I love Jesus and He's put a love in my heart for you. And that's as simple as that. And that's why if we love every moment, we're going to love every moment. I'm your average wretch, and I hope you have a good week.